What if the story of 9/11 wasn't just about terrorists? What if the aftermath, the investigations, the wars, the new laws, hinted at a deeper plan to reshape America itself? Could pre-planned aerial attacks really bring down structures as massive as the Twin Towers? And how did US air defense allow multiple hijacked aircraft to strike the nation's most protected zones? These questions unravel far more than a single event. And once you see where the evidence leads, it becomes impossible to unsee. Because the cover-up begins almost immediately. Before we dive deeper into the 9/11 aftermath, hit the subscribe button to help us keep creating content that mainstream media won't cover. Right after the attacks, key evidence vanished, video footage withheld, rubble shipped overseas before proper examination, independent researchers smeared as criminals. This silence created the perfect breeding ground for conspiracy theories, while the voices trying to investigate were actively suppressed. Then came the war justified by 9/11.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against Al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
Against a country the hijackers weren't even from. And after bin Laden was reportedly killed, his body was buried at sea without a single public image or video.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda.
Most alarming of all, multiple US agencies helped create the very conditions that allowed the hijackers to succeed. A labyrinth of intelligence failures and questionable decisions paved the way for one of the most precise, coordinated attacks in modern history. And yet, the most mind-bending anomaly wasn't even the Twin Towers. It was a building no plane ever touched. When the North Tower fell, debris rained across Lower Manhattan. Multiple buildings sustained heavy damage, but mysteriously, a structure between them survived. World Trade Center 7, however, did not. A 47-story steel-framed building collapsed symmetrically into its own footprint with no aircraft impact. The 9/11 Commission report never mentioned it, not once. Eyewitnesses heard explosions. Engineers said the collapse resembled a controlled demolition. Fires alone, according to independent studies, couldn't explain the total structural failure. And consider what the building housed: CIA, DoD, Secret Service, IRS, FEMA, American Express, Federal Home Loan Bank, plus NYC's Office of Emergency Management. All gone, all in seconds.
Guys, we have. Oh my God! Look behind us, please. Pan in this way, please. Be careful of your baby. This is it.
Even the New York Times reported that steel evidence was shipped overseas before analysis, puzzling engineers worldwide. But the official story? Still incomplete. And when investigators pushed deeper, what they found in the rubble of WTC-7 would ignite an even bigger controversy. FEMA and NIST claimed falling debris ignited fires, water systems failed, and a single structural column, number 79, triggered a progressive collapse. But critics asked, how does one point of failure cause a perfectly symmetrical drop? Why did the entire building give way in mere seconds? And why have no other steel skyscrapers in major fires collapsed the same way? In 2020, the University of Alaska Fairbanks released an independent study. Fires could not have weakened the structure. A progressive collapse was impossible. The building behaved like a controlled demolition. Researchers even found red-grade chips in the dust, consistent with energetic thermitic material, and some widely circulated videos edited. But bizarre physical evidence wasn't the only problem. There were signs that some people knew in advance what would happen. Barry Jennings, who reported explosions inside WTC-7 before its collapse, died just days before NIST released its official report.
We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hesh, I said, this is it.
Spike Lee questioned the collapse in his HBO series, only to remove that content after public backlash and accusations of anti-Semitism. And in one of the strangest moments of the day, the BBC announced the collapse of WTC-7 20 minutes early while the building still stood behind the reporter.
This isn't the first building that has suffered as a result.
Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose.
Meanwhile, suspicious financial activity surged in the days prior. Unusual put options, bets the airline's stocks would fall, spiked on September 6th and 10th. 95% against United came from one anonymous investor. The commission called it innocuous. Foreign intelligence agencies from Europe to the Middle East reportedly warned the US beforehand. Several individuals of interest quietly left the country. If all this happened, were warnings ignored? Or was something larger at play? Because what happened after 9/11 transformed America in ways no one imagined. The 9/11 Commission protected the Bush administration, justified new laws, and paved the way for unprecedented surveillance.
Because I wanted them to know, how I set strategy, how we run the White House, how we deal with threats.
The Patriot Act expanded government power dramatically, granting access to private records, approving roving wiretaps, and enabling warrantless searches. Programs like PRISM and mass surveillance grew rapidly. Airport security changed forever. The CIA shifted from intelligence to paramilitary operations. Guantanamo Bay turned into a site of indefinite detention, torture, and secrecy. But what came next escalated far beyond domestic policy.
We advance our own security interests by helping moderates and reformers and brave voices for democracy. And one question has surely been settled. That to win the war on terror, we must take the fight to the enemy.
Psychologists Mitchell and Jessen engineered interrogation methods that included waterboarding, sleep deprivation, and stress positions, rolled out worldwide across CIA black sites. Torture-generated confessions became core intelligence, even though many were proven unreliable. Trillions were spent, thousands died, yet bin Laden remained uncaptured for nearly 10 years. And despite no link to the hijackers, The US invaded Iraq, destabilizing an entire region and sparking conflicts that still reverberate today. But amid all the suffering, some people walked away with everything. The human toll is staggering. 2,977 innocent lives lost on 9/11. Nearly 7,000 US troops killed. 52,000 wounded. Millions of civilians affected overseas. Americans lost freedoms, lost loved ones, lost trillions of dollars.
The turf I want to protect is the turf that my 5-year-old daughter and I walk and drive across. It is our great nation.
Meanwhile, political and intelligence leaders rose in power. Bush's popularity soared. Condoleezza Rice advanced. George Tenet, John Brennan, Cofer Black, Paul Wolfowitz, Philip Zelikow, and others gained influence or profit. Accountability? Non-existent. And still, the biggest questions remain unanswered. Why did WTC-7 collapse symmetrically with no plane impact? Who placed those suspicious financial bets? What role did key intelligence officials truly play? Decades later, the American people still don't have the full truth. And the cover-up, if there is one, remains as thick as ever. If you believe these questions deserve answers, share this video, subscribe, and help keep this conversation alive. Because the deeper we go, the harder it becomes to ignore what's been hidden. Join us in bringing darkness to light.